All right, welcome to Timely Talk with Emma Folks.
And this is Andrew Snorton. Hopefully everyone's doing great today.
Hopefully everyone is doing great today. We both look good.
We're looking healthy, looking good, feeling good, but
great.
You can tell. Hey, it's always it's never a dull moment. So.
Never a dull moment, man. So how were your holidays? You get to see the fam?
The holidays went well. I got a chance to spend time with my parents, my sister, brother-in-law, nieces, a couple other familiar faces. So it was good to unplug for a few days. And even though I was under the weather towards the end of my visit with my folks, definitely feeling better. The new year is off to a very positive start, and I hope the same for everybody else, that their year is off to a good start, and it carries through as fully as possible.
You're so positive. I love that about you.
Well, seriously, look, we all have our bumps in the road, and, I had a couple, bumps in the road, but when you have supportive people in your corner and you do what you can to remain grounded, it helps you understand it's just a matter of when instead of a matter of if. So everyone that, that's just in general. Anyone that takes time to check on you and what have you, thank you. And again, to everybody out there, seriously, I hope that things are off to a great start. And if they're off to a slow start, just keep chipping away as best as possible and rely on your support network. Seriously, don't think you have to do everything alone.
So support network, so I was clowning him because he brought this. I don't know if you can see it, right? It looks like an album cover.
It's a book.
It's a book. So he brings this to me. So I'm like, oh, cool, thinking he's giving it to me. But he's not. It's just like a first draft. Andrew Snorton has written a book of poetry. Like, what happened, man?
How did
this happen?
How did this happen? It's a good question. I think because of my background of having written before for different online magazines and having done some op-eds for a couple of newspapers, and my background, actually one of my majors in college is English, so writing is always part of what I've done. And even in the classroom, I used to teach language arts, which is obviously writing-based, right, and social studies, which is writing-based. And I also taught journalism for a minute, which is writing-based. So writing is something that I've always done, but I'll be honest, even though people are like, oh, you need to write a book, it's like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to get to it. But I'll be honest, what really gave me the motivation was with one of my clients, celebrity host Tyra Satai, who's based out of Baton Rouge. She actually hired me to help do PR for her book called Follow the Fire. And because of the work done during the spring of 2016 and the summer, it's like, you know what, just from reading that was like the kick in the backside to go ahead and start writing. So what ended up happening is my original manuscript was a collection of essays, like looking at different topical interests, social issues, whatever. But the problem is when I didn't fully back it up, so when my old laptop went out, I lost like all of that. And at first I'm like, darn, I need to start all over again. But I'll tell you what, I knew around this time of year I wanted to do a book of poetry. Okay. So to a degree, it's almost like that crash was actually a blessing in disguise. And really, for me to get to this point, honestly, it took me about like 3 to 4 weeks to go ahead and get that draft written.
What's the name?
The name is Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton. And there's a story behind the title that I'll get to in the next segment. But no, like I said, even though that crash happened, it actually kind of worked out better, I think. And not only that, with poetry, that's number one of the easier forms of reading for people to take in. And the way that I really wanted to do it is design something for people who like to read, that it's not overly long, but for people who complain it takes too long to read, if you're reading a shorter segment, which is maybe like a 5 or 6 page segment, it's like, oh, I can do this and build up on it. So I was really looking at both ends of the quote traditional and non-traditional reading spectrum.
All right, when we come back, we're going to ask you a little bit more about Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Norton. All right, awesome.
Rabbit squirrel, what do you call those things you put around your neck? But how's it going this afternoon?
It's going good, man. This is just a test of the emergency broadcast system. That's actually supposed to be the boop.
Oh, the boop.
In the event of a real emergency, then something will tell you something, and
do you guys
evacuate.
remember that commercial? Unless you grew up in like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you probably have no idea what we're talking about.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? That one?
Yeah, that one, because it was supposed to help parents make sure to know, hey, if your kids aren't at home with you, can you identify where they are to cut down the chance of abduction? So, in theory, it was a good idea. Practice remains to be
You were just a
seen.
bad parent. If you had to wait till the commercial came on to ask you if you knew where your kids are, likely there's a high probability that the Child Protective Services had them. That's what the commercial was.
And there you have it. Don't be that bad parent, darn it.